You must understand this. This is what swimming's all about. We call it the essence of swimming. For coaches and swimmers, it's the essence of life. This is what it's all about. This is the meaning of life right now. Okay, so it's a concept you must understand. Cycles, tempo, and the interaction between those variables is what it's all about. Swim time is a function of what the average tempo is times the cycles. That's going to be your swim time. Okay. It doesn't make any difference whether you're ugly, you're fat, whatever. If you do a certain cycle count, with a certain tempo, you're going to do that time. Now, of course, let's say if you're fat or you're not out of shape, you're out of shape or something like that, then you probably won't be able to do the right number of cycles or the tempo. You know. But if you do a specific cycle count with a tempo, a certain tempo, it's going to account for basically 100% of the variance of the swim time. Now. So in this example, we're using a long course, 20 cycles, 1.20 tempo, 24 cycles. It's not quite that simple because you have to add the breakout times on it, which can influence both of these. So the breakout time has to be added on there. So let's have a little short breakout time of 2.3 just for an illustration, and that gives you a 26.3 tempo. Now, I know that some people still might be doing tempo with cycles per minute, and you ought to stop doing that. That's not good. The reason why is because your little kids and the people, the swimmers do not understand it near as good as if you do seconds per cycle. It's still a measurement of tempo, but it takes one more step past this to get how many cycles per minute is what some people, that's the reason why they do that is it happens to be still, we use these watches, so they have this idiot function here down at the bottom where you take time on 3 cycles and it gives you revolutions per minute. That came out of rowing, it didn't come out of swimming. And it's okay if you want to do that, that's fine, but it's not near as good as seconds per cycle. You can understand seconds per cycle a lot better. For example, if you, in this right here, if you cut off a cycle, how much you're going to improve? You instantly know it's 1.2. You know, if you cut off a cycle and keep the same tempo, and all the other variables stay the same, you're there. Now, if you understand this, you're going to understand why swimming underwater is faster. So the kids have to understand this. If they're going to understand why it's faster to kick underwater, they have to understand this. So they have to teach this to them first here. Okay, so let me give you here. We're going to show you why it's faster to kick underwater here. Okay, let's go back a little bit here. Many years ago, it's what we did is we used to dive in on butterfly. We do 2 kicks. This is symbolized as a kick, and then we'd start cycling down the pool. Now we did this for whenever I started my career. My career actually started, I lied about my age, where I could get a summer job one time. And so I started around 1960 is when I started. And so I was very young when I started, but this is the way we swam butterfly now. And we swam it like this up until, even when Misty was a young age grouper, we'd dive in and do 2 kicks, then come up and we'd start swimming down the pool, each one of these representing a stroke. And the reason why we only took 2 kicks is because we thought that if we stayed underwater longer, we'd be better off to be up on top of the water because you're swimming at a higher velocity than you can kick at. That's what the thought was. And when you'd go to swim meets, you'd hear coaches all the time, they'd go, I like a swimmer dive in, and they kind of get what we call stuck underwater, and they wouldn't get up within 2 kicks, and you'd hear the coaches going, oh, get up, get up, get up. Oh God, they blew their race. You know, we missed our national time because we got caught underwater. You know, and you still can do this. You still hear this a lot. You'll hear little kids cheering on their teammates and say, oh, get up, get up. You know, because you just think you can kick faster up on top of the water. So this is the way we swam it. And we were swimming it like this in 92, 93. Now, I know that some people are going to say, oh, I saw somebody do this a long time ago. I remember, I think there was, I can't remember the name of the swimmer at Auburn before that period of time, who hurt her shoulder. Somebody might know. And so she couldn't do overwater recovery. And so she did backstroke and kicked all the way in the water. And somebody like that, they had done it previously, but nobody was doing butterfly in 1993 without limiting the number of kicks and getting up swimming. So for this illustration, we're going to call it 2 kicks, and what we're going to do is we're going to assign a tempo of 1.10 to each cycle. So every time you take a cycle down the pool, it costs you 1.1 seconds. Okay? To give you an idea, if you don't know tempos, if there are people out there that don't know tempos, Phelps, when he swims his 200 about 1.20. Most people are around 1.10. Some people swim 1.15. Some people swim 1.05. I had a girl in the 200 fly that swam, she swam 2:11 doing 1.0 tempo, doing 30 cycles. Okay? Just like this. Lots of cardiovascular, she was a cardiovascular animal, and she would keep it going, but that's a little bit extreme. We wouldn't dare try to go have somebody do that right now. Maybe sometime in the future we will. So let's just say 1.1 is kind of a medium tempo, so give me that for this illustration. So this is what we found out with Missy. If she did 2 more kicks, okay, how much does each kick cost you? 0.45, right? So 2 kicks cost you 0.90. So if you go replace this one cycle, if you go the same distance down the pool with 2 kicks, that you can go 1 cycle, which you can, and we found out you could do that. You go the same distance with 2 kicks that you go 1 cycle, then you could replace this 1 cycle at 1.10 with 0.9 for 2 kicks. So how much do you save? 0.20. Okay. So, hey, we did it again. Okay. We just kept doing it. And I'd be way out there. There was no 15-meter rule when she started this, and we were going like first to 25 meters and then 35 meters, and we were going on out there. Here's something else that we found that was very, very exciting. As you get better, as you got better at the flow movement, you actually get more distance than 1 cycle. You get about that much more. Not very much, but just say it's that much more. So you're getting this much, and you're getting this much more with an improved fish or foil movement, and with the same tempo. Okay, so you get a little bit more. So you kick 2 times there. Now you kick 2 more times. It's that much. 2 more times that much. 2 more times that. 2 more. Pretty soon, you have enough distance per kick, more than the 2 for 1, in order to only have to go 1 more kick. And this is where you have a big pop when that happens. So this is 0.45, and you're replacing, you only have to go 1 more kick to get 1 more cycle off. So theoretically, you're going 1.10, you're substituting 0.45. Now you're talking about big time. Okay. So this all adds up to a huge amount of time. Okay. Missy's not big. Some of the athletes she was swimming against that time, like Van Dyke and those people like that, Jimmy Thompson, those guys were physical specimens that were tall. I mean, they're 6 foot and that type thing. And one of the things that we'll talk a little bit about later on, Missy knew that she had to do some things that were different if she was going to beat those people. And maybe she was going out at this time when she was doing that, she was a little bit younger. Maybe she was going out at 29 for a low force fly. And maybe after a while, maybe she got out of where she was going, 29 and 28.9. After she started going these extended breakouts way out there at like 35 meters, she was able to get out 26. She could go 26 on the way out. Now you go from 28 to 20 or 29 to 26, and all of a sudden you've taken a huge jump. Instead of being a local swimmer anymore or a good junior national kid, all of a sudden she was a world-class kid. And this is the reason why it's faster to kick underwater, because you can substitute one cycle with 2 kicks, and you can take 2 kicks faster than you can do one cycle, and that's why it's faster. Theoretically, it's even twice as fast on backstroke. Okay, can you see why it might be? You can cover the distance for one cycle of backstroke with 2 kicks. And if you do that, backstroke swims at a slower tempo. And most people would say this is kind of a national level tempo right there, especially on the way back, although I have some comments on that, on Murphy and some of that stuff later on. But if you substitute 2 kicks at 0.9 for one cycle at 1.9, how much do you say? 4 kicks. Theoretically, it's almost twice as fast on back. It has twice as much meaning on it. Now, you're not going to get that. You never get 100% of transfer of a correlation like that, but it's going to be significant there. And we have lots of evidence of that right now. You know, NCAs, especially NCAs, in the 200 butterfly used to be much faster than the 200 backstroke. A lot faster. It's flip-flop now. Now it's flip-flop. Backstroke is much faster than butterfly. In fact, the American record, 136, I think is what it is, in backstroke. Up until just this year, the backstroke was, butterfly was 139. And if you take, and you look at all the conferences, like Big Ten, Southeast, all of the conferences, and just take their top 16 from Constellation Finals, average their times, backstroke's much faster than butterfly right there. In fact, it's even getting faster, you know, in the hundreds. I'll give you a good example. You know, Cindy Tran, the girl that we did watch that, when she was in high school, she set, did the national record at 51, okay? And when she went to Cal, her freshman year, she went a 50 point, okay? And she went a 50 point the next year, and she won both those years in NCAAs. It's the point that I'm getting at is that during that time, butterfly was won with a 50 around the 51.5. Now, as you know, there's been a person break 50 seconds, 49 girl in the backstroke, now in the fly also. In the fly, it's been done also now. And here, an example of the girls used to be a hero if you go 138 or 158 in the 200 back. And that thing has dropped so fast, and now if you're probably not training to break 150, you're probably not going to be in the finals of NCAAs. Whether you do it or not, you better be training to try. And I think there's been 4 or 5 girls down to 147. In fact, Kylie Stewart, when she was a junior at Dynamo, she went 149 in junior nationals. And so it's gotten much, much faster, and the reason why backstroke is faster than the fly now is because of this relationship right here. And so now you know why it's faster to kick underwater. The reason it's faster to kick underwater is because you can do the same distance with 2 kicks that you can with one cycle, and 2 kicks are faster than one cycle. I want to tell you why it's not faster for some kids, and this is one of the big problems that we're having right now. I think we have people that won't try it. They won't try underwater kicking, or if they try it apprehensively, and they do it halfway. Okay, and one of the reasons why, especially the upper level swimmers, they dive in the water and they know the kids that are really using the underwater kicks, and they go, man, I just can't stay with them. You know, I'm going to have to figure out some other way to beat them because I can't do that. And I've heard coaches, they'll say, okay, I want you to do 9 kicks off the dive. And they'll say, I don't want to do 9 kicks off the dive. If I go that far, I'm just going to get beat. I'm not going to be my best time. And the coach insists that they do it. And they get up there and they do it. And they don't do their best time. They don't do well. They come back and they say, see, I told you so. I'm just not a good kicker. Okay? That's not the problem though. The problem, almost in all cases, is what they're doing is they're going 0.6. They're doing a 0.6 right here. If you go 0.6, how long does it take to do 2 kicks? 1.20. Okay. So if you're doing 0.6 and you're doing 1.20, you're substituting this for 1.30. Then you're not subtracting anymore, you're adding a 1/10 of a second. So it's what they do is they add a little bit of time there, and they say, see coach, I told you I could do it, you know? But it's what they really need to do is they need to understand this concept and then go back and work on 2 things. Work on the flow movement to get more distance per kick. And almost all national level swimmers, almost all the senior, even junior national kids, they can do enough distance per kick to take up the 1 cycle. They can do it, all of them can. The problem is, for most of them, is they don't have enough tempo. They don't practice enough tempo, and they don't realize what it is. They don't know what 0.45 is. So the best way to teach them how to do 0.45 is to get a tempo trainer and set 0.45 as a tempo trainer and then do it. Everybody here, I think, is familiar with tempo trainers. Usually I get out a tempo trainer and show all that stuff. Just put a tempo trainer in there and have them work out, and they'll develop the ability to do 0.45. And you should do that 0.45, the specificity of that, when you're doing your repeats that we're going to give you. We're going to give you a couple of sets that you do with this, and they should try to be very specific with the tempo. Now, are they going to be that way? Not all the time. Sometimes you want to work on distance per kick on it anyway. Okay, so now you know why it's faster to kick underwater.